Do you feel like you have no energy, you have low mood all the time, you're struggling to do things, you don't even have the desire to be with women? Every morning feels like a struggle and you just feel like shit all the time. What if I told you this could be due to low testosterone? Everyone talks about morning wood, but testosterone does so much more than that. It can be the difference between you feeling good and taking action or spending all day in your bed feeling sorry for yourself. That's why today we're going to look at some simple ways how you can improve your testosterone in the next few days so you can wake up with that big dick energy and that morning wood if that's what you're struggling with. These things will change your life. Now that I'm 40, I'm doing everything to optimize my testosterone. But let's look at some simple habits you can start doing in the next 24 hours. And it all starts in the morning. You've got to start your day right. If you start your day the wrong way, the rest of the day is all messed up. Because when you start wrong, you just end up in that vicious cycle of doing the wrong things, being in the wrong mood and not having the desire to do the things that you want. Every time I wake up and jump onto my phone, my whole day's ruined. It ruins my mindset, it ruins what I'm going to do during the day, it ruins my decisions for my business. It has such an impact on how I feel throughout the day. That's why the first thing you've got to do in the morning is get out and get into the light. Everyone talks about getting sunlight into your eyes, and I didn't understand what was going on. But as soon as that sunlight hits your eyes, it tells your brain it's the morning and we need to get on it. When you jump onto your phone, your dopamine rises, up, down, crashes. You're constantly searching for that new hit. Therefore, when you come off your phone, you feel sluggish and you feel unmotivated. But when you go out into natural sunlight and take that light in for 10 to 15 minutes, your dopamine rises slowly and it reaches the level it needs to get to, encouraging you to take action throughout the day. When you have the right dopamine levels, your body produces more testosterone. That's why the first thing you want to do every morning is jump out and get into some sunlight. The second thing you want to do is not go on your phone. Now, if you live in a country where there is no sunlight, then it can be difficult to do this. I used to live in the UK, and one of the reasons I left the UK was because there was no sun. When I used to wake up in the morning, I would go outside, it would be grey, and just looking at that would make me feel down. So I moved out to Asia. You may not be able to do that right now, or you may not want to do it. That's where you have to find a way to get artificial light into your eyes. There's loads of machines out there that you can research that will provide you the necessary light to change your dopamine levels and help you to produce testosterone and making you feel good throughout the day. The next thing you want to do is adopt a more stoic mindset throughout the day so you can reduce your stress levels. I was someone who got annoyed and frustrated at every little thing. And what did it achieve me? Nothing. I didn't benefit from it. But also, I didn't know by getting stressed over the littlest things was raising my cortisol levels. When you get stressed or you get annoyed or you get frustrated or you're always anxious, you raise cortisol in your body. Why that is a bad thing? If your body is trying to manage your cortisol levels and manage your stress and frustration, you can't produce testosterone. So if you're always stressed, you're not going to be able to produce the testosterone you need to. That's why it's so important as us men that we learn to manage and ride our stress. You can't let your stress ride you and take over you. Yes, you may have money problems, you may have relationship problems, you may have family problems, you may have the most problems in the world, but it doesn't change the situation. By stressing about it, getting frustrated about it, getting annoyed and angry about it, only raises your cortisol levels and destroys your testosterone levels. That's why you have to learn a more stoic mindset so you can deal with these problems a lot better. I learned this from the book Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. He would remind himself every morning that he's going to meet certain type of people. They're going to bring him down. They're going to be rude to him. They're going to give him shit. They're going to say everything to him. But he's going to stay calm and collected. He's not going to let other people impact his decisions and what he has to do throughout the day. By reminding myself of this every morning before I left the house made all the difference to my day, but also how I was able to deal with work colleagues and patients in the hospital. Just by setting yourself up with the right mindset, it can change how you behave, but also it can lower your stress levels. You've got to learn to ride that stress instead of letting that stress take over you, because by stressing, it never achieves anything. But if you can relax and see the situation for what it is, you will be able to lower your cortisol levels and make better decisions in your life. The next thing that will be raising your cortisol levels is what you're consuming. If you're watching the news, watching depressing news, watching things that are making you think, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? You're always going to be in this constant state of stress. That's why you've got to stop consuming things that stress you out, that frustrate you, that make you angry. There are things you cannot change, but you can change your actions. And if you make your actions a lot better, you can change your life, how you feel, and what's going to happen in the coming months and years. But if you can continue to consume this negative content, all it will do is raise your cortisol levels and lower your testosterone. The third thing you need to do to optimize your testosterone is get a nighttime routine. Everyone talks about their morning routine, but no one talks about their nighttime routine. The night is the time where you produce the most testosterone. So if you don't have a good nighttime routine, you will be losing out the chance to maximize your testosterone. Furthermore, if you don't have a good night's sleep and then you wake up tired in the morning, you wake up with raised cortisol levels. So having a nighttime routine is so important. That's why at 10:15 I shut off all technology. I try going 45 minutes without technology, so by the time I jump into bed at 11 p.m, I'm already on that come down, and falling asleep becomes a lot easier. Everyone talks about you need 8, 9, 10 hours sleep. They are wrong. It's no point sleeping for 10 hours if the quality is crap. So the aim is to get better quality sleep, whether it's 4 hours, whether it's 8 hours, whether it's 12 hours. No matter how many hours it is, it's all about the quality. That's why you need to develop a nighttime routine that works for you. Me, for the last few hours before bed, I try putting on my blue light blockers. I put my screen into night shift mode so it goes nice and yellow. I try reducing those bright lights because the bright lights are the ones that impact your dopamine levels. If you don't have the right dopamine levels, it will impact your sleep. If you don't have the right dopamine levels in the morning, it will impact your day. Dopamine is so important. That's why we should do everything we can to ensure we have the right dopamine levels. I know it's a lot easier said than done. But if you're feeling like shit, you have no motivation, you have no desire, you're feeling lost, then you gotta try changing your habits to improving your life. If you can increase your testosterone, it will make you feel good. So from tomorrow, get up in the morning, get outside, get some light into your eyes for the first 15 minutes. Then throughout the day, try not to stress. Stay calm, stay relaxed, stay stoic. Remember, challenges are going to come your way, but you can deal with them. And finally, make sure your night routine is good. Make sure you're relaxing before bed. Turn off your technology. Ignore people who are going to stress you out. Don't have stressful conversations with your girlfriends or your family members. Take a bit of time just to relax so you can have the best sleep of your life. Once you do that, you will wake up in the morning feeling fresh, feeling stronger, and feeling the desire to change your life.